Hello there, it's Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be creating some paper rosettes, and I am using what I have left over from that Freezin Seasons by Simple Stories. This was a collection from last year. There's not a ton of it left, but I did find one store that still has some available. I will link that below for you if you're interested in it. I am getting started here by trimming out my papers to score and create my rosettes. So I'm going to trim these to 12 inches by 1.5 inches, and then I'm doing 2 strips of each color, and I'm going to combine those strips together to create one really full rosette. So if you need a slower tutorial of this, you will find one under my 5 minutes or less tutorials, and I will take you through this process in real time, showing you exactly how I do everything. I am just including things here really quickly. This is sped up, I think, to about 300% or so, just to get us started here. So I did take each of those strips and I have scored them at every 1/2 inch. Here I'm folding this. It's just a back and forth fold, similar to how you would make those fans when you were a kid with a piece of paper. And I will go ahead here and add some Scor-Tape along one of each of the edges of those. I'm using some 1/2 inch Scor-Tape. I'm then going to create a loop with the 2 matching pieces of paper, and that's going to create our rosette. So I will peel away the backing on one side of that tape, place that on one side of the other piece of paper, and then do the same thing at the other end to create my circle. I'll show you that one more time here. Next, I've pulled out my hot glue gun, and I have also punched out some 1-inch circles from some of my leftover pattern paper. I'm going to just fold that circle or loop down on itself to create the rosette, and I sort of start by folding from the outside in and just pushing that down. The scoring and the folding that you've done will help all of this come together. You want to squeeze that so it's nice and tight. Add some hot glue there in the center, and then place one of those circles down to dry there and hold everything in place. And here I'll give you a little bit of a better look at pushing that down to create that circle. Again, adding some glue in the center and placing one of those circles on top. So I wanted to accent a few of these with some fake snow, and I'm going to do that by adding some hot glue along the edges. I am just running a very thin line of that up and down those V folds right along the edge there, and then I will take some of my fake snow and dump that on top. I did do probably between maybe 5 and 7 of the up and down folds at a time, just because I was worried that since I was using such a thin line of my hot glue that it may dry too quickly on me. So that seemed to work well for me, and it dried pretty quickly that way as well. So I'll continue to do that, just segment by segment, going along here, adding some glue, adding some snow, until I get all the way around my edges. I'm going to give you a quick look here, once that's finished, of what that looks like. Add some really great texture. I also added some of this rock candy distress glitter, and for this I ran my glue going up and down the folds rather than along the edges, and I just varied that with the length to give that a little bit of texture and just sort of some difference on each edge there. This I was able to do a little bit more quickly because of the way I was adding the glue. I just sort of touched the top of the glue gun down there and just ran that really quickly up and down, did about half at a time, so I was able to do this in about 2 passes. And then I dumped the glitter on top, of course, just pulling away some of those extra glue strands there, and there was a close-up look of all of that glitter. So at this point, I'm going to get to decorating everything. I have sped things up quite a bit, as you can see here. I'm going to leave the rest of this as a process video, just showing you how I pull things in, take them out, and then the design that I finally end up with. And I will be back at the end to give you a close-up look at all of the finished rosettes. Here I will give you a close-up look at all of the finished rosettes. In the description box below, you'll find my blog post, which has photos and links to the supplies I used. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a comment or a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.